Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Viral. Well, we are a special edition of Viral where we talk about the Andrew Gillum Tamron Hall interview that met many people confused, the people speculating, and it was very more intriguing and interesting to know how Andrew Gillum was a rising political star and he had his one night in a hotel that had his fall from grace. And this is his road to redemption. But first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag viral here on Connect. And thank you all for watching. Now, many of you know, and many of you know that we've been talking about the most talked about interview ever. Andrew Gillum sat down with Tamron Hall. Andrew Gillum, a rising star amongst the Democrat Party. He was slated to be the next Barack Obama. He was going to take the baton from Obama. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Well, we talked about in our previous viral episode, Andrew Gillum, Fall from Grace, where Andrew Gillum was in the hotel room unconscious and he was drunk and many people speculated and allegedly thought he was on drugs. And then another monkey in the wrench where many people had thought he had a secret he had hid. But it's kind of tricky. All right, let's get to this tell-all interview that Tamron Hall sat down with Andrew Gillum and explained that night, that fateful night that changed everything with this.
In a major party to run for governor in Florida. A rising star in the Democratic Party, Andrew Gillum came within striking distance of the governor's mansion during a hotly contested race in 2018. He lost to Republican Ron DeSantis by less than half a percentage point. The 41-year-old husband and father was later floated as a possible VP contender, but behind the scenes, Gillum's life was unraveling. In the early hours of March 13th, police found him inebriated in this Miami Beach hotel with two other men. A photo of Gillum in a compromising position was leaked for the world to see. Gillum denied taking methamphetamines, but checked in a rehab facility for treatment of alcoholism and depression. Now, 6 months later, Andrew Gillum is making his first television appearance, sitting down in an exclusive interview with Tamron Hall. He goes there, we go there. There were no rules to this. It was more about a raw, real interview that he provided, and I think it will be one of the most compelling things that people will see. Gillum talking about the night that changed his life.
I understand very well what people assume about that.
Part of that exclusive interview airing on GMA.
When that photo came out, I didn't recognize the person on the floor. That was not anything more than a person being at their most vulnerable state, unconscious, having given no consent. And someone decided to use a moment where I was literally lying in my own vomit.
As you saw right there, Andrew Gillum telling his side of the story on what he had witnessed and what he had to deal with that night, where him and a friend that we talked about on Archives, Fall from Grace, where they was Andrew Gillum was in Miami to officiate a wedding. The wedding didn't turn out to be the way Andrew Gillum thought. Andrew Gillum got himself caught up in the situation, being left naked, drunk, and helpless. And many people had speculated what's going on with that. Well, speculating on that, many people thought on the interview that Andrew Gillum was going to reveal that he had a secret. Well, let's see what that secret is with this.
To be very honest with you, when you didn't ask the question, you put it out there, is whether or not I identify as gay. And the answer is I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual. And that is something that I have never shared publicly before. And to be very honest with you, when you didn't ask the question, you put it out there.
Right there, Andrew Gillum revealed to Tamron Hall rumors and speculations about his sexuality. Andrew Gillum said that he's bisexual, which he's entitled to his own opinion. He's entitled to what he likes. That he's attracted to both men and women. But the thing is, while you're married, it's sort of like you're trying to disguise that, and you're not being honest about that, not being genuine. If you're gay or bisexual, however you want to prefer your own preference, that's your own business. But for your wife's sake and stuff. And let's hear what his wife had thought about this. She sat down with Tamara. This.
Hoping maybe we had just miscommunicated. And I think I really was truly worried that he was either on the side of the road somewhere and had an accident, or, maybe worse, that had a DUI or something.
Was that in part because you noticed that he'd started drinking a lot after the loss of the election?
I did. I have to admit that I did not know how bad it was. I really didn't. I think, it hid a lot of that for me.
That night in Miami, you said you woke up the next morning after you tried to reach him, and he started to explain to you something had happened. Do you remember how he explained it?
I remember being very angry. He first just apologized. He said, "I'm so sorry I put you through that. I know you were really worried about me last night." And then he said, "I have to tell you something." It just seemed so unbelievable. Like, what? It was just like something out of a movie. You passed out, and, all these police are there, and your friend overdosed. It was a lot. And I didn't recognize it. I didn't recognize.
Did you not recognize it because it was not consistent with his behavior, or that it just sounds so far-fetched?
I kept saying the word reckless because Andrew was very disciplined. I thought it was depression. I thought he needed to talk to somebody, and that he probably didn't have words or way to voice what was going on and all that he was experiencing. Our lives had been turned upside down for almost 2 years, and so many people still wanted a piece of him. I'll never forget, we were on vacation when the hurricane in the Bahamas hit, and he spent most of that vacation on the phone because everybody was calling, "Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you help these people?" And I finally got angry, and I said, "You're not the governor." And I was ready to be selfish. I told him, I said, "The only good thing about you losing the race was that I thought I would get my husband back." But he just has that quality that everybody just feels like they know him or know someone
But you
like
wanted
him.
your husband
I
back.
did.
The kids wanted their dad. When you saw that picture, where were you?
I was at home.
Alone?
I was. And I knew something was wrong because a number of friends had reached out to do that. "I'm just checking on you." Because it was hard to see. It's my husband. The strongest man I know. It was hard to see.
What did you see in that photo?
That he was helpless. Honestly, I got angry. I thought he was being taken advantage of in a way that was unfair. I thought that the whole situation, if it had happened to a woman, it would be a very different narrative.
Meaning?
If anyone had a tabloid with a woman lying naked on the floor, would the pictures have even made it out? It would have been criminal.
More of our exclusive interview.
And what agreement do we make to be in relationship with each other? Those people who love us, who care about us, who wish us well no matter what did happen, that is the energy we receive. That's what we get all of our energy from.
I watched an interview where you talked about God's plan. After all of this, after the words of shame directed at you, Andrew, and the questions that your children will ask when they're a little older, hopefully a lot older, we're not supposed to question God's plan. But have you questioned God's plan?
All the time.
Coming up next.
In a way that I hadn't heard before. I'm sure most people will trace the issues that we have to March of this year. And for us, I think we will both admit that we both gave up on each other over the course of 2019. You know, we have problems just like everybody else has problems. And I did not do my part in making sure that we could keep the unit together in the way that we needed it to be. So when it comes to she and I, please believe if RJ wanted to end our marriage, she would bring that to me, and that's something we would have to reckon with. If we're no longer growing together in the way that we've committed to each other, we're going to be the two to tell each other first.
Now that you have
Tamron Hall, his wife RJ, accepting his sexuality and still want to be married to Andrew and accepting him the way he is, I feel that's kind of suspect in a way because, you know, Tamron did hit the nail on the head that she might be naive or she might be just covering up for him. But it's just, you know, we don't know what's going on between their marriage. It ain't none of our business. But when you when you're on national TV and you got a lot of people pewing out, see what's going on, and let people know to judge and be like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Just kind of weird and twisted. All right, let's hear what you people had to say about the Tamron Hall Andrew Gillum interview that left people shocked and amazed. Let's see what you people had to say out there.
Detailing worldwide, it is your lifestyle specialist Kenny Burns, and it's time for In Case You Missed It. One time for the former mayor of Tallahassee and one of the front runners for governor of Florida, Andrew Gillum. Before I play this clip from the Tamron Hall show, let me set the table for those who don't know. Gillum made national headlines in March when he was found with a male escort that had overdosed in a Miami hotel. Sturgis, play that clip for us.
And to be very honest with you, when you didn't ask the question, you put it out there, is whether or not I identify as gay. And the answer is I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual. And that is something that I have never shared publicly before.
Applaud that, man. More of you men and women that are bisexual should tell your partners. That's how these diseases are being spread out here in these streets. And I don't know if you've seen the Tamron Hall interview yet, but his wife was side by side with him. Now, I don't know if she's staying or if she's leaving, but tell your partners the truth. You never know. I've seen them stay. Tell them the truth. We are in a world that is accepting of everything, especially when it's who you truly are. Do not be apologetic for that. And I applaud that man. That man was the mayor of Tallahassee. I never forget D-Nice, and I flew down with Will Packer to support him in his race for governor of Florida. Great human, man. Great human. And then this thing hit, and it was so shocking because no one knew. And then, obviously, there was craziness surrounding the whole thing. But as he just said, he admitted his truth. He shared his truth with the world, and I'm sure in hopes that other people will do the same. But y'all, be thoughtful, man, because this thing out here is crazy with these men and women not telling their partners that they go on both ways. It's okay if that's what you're doing, as long as you're telling people what's happening. We have to really, really be forthright out here, man. We're spreading too many diseases. People are dying from this. And, you know, I applaud Andrew Gillum for coming out and telling his truth in hopes that other people will share theirs as well. Be upfront with it, guys. Be thoughtful, be selfless. Let's stop being, come on now, let's do better. All right, I got more in case you missed it on the way. I don't know if you know, but it's the 30-year anniversary of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We got something on the other side. It's the Kenny Burns Show on the People Station V103.
Andrew Andrew Gillum is bisexual. He's just so stunning. Hey everybody, did you hear? Andrew Gillum is bisexual. He's just so stunning and brave. Wrong. Andrew Gillum is not stunning and brave for quote unquote coming out as being bisexual. He's actually a coward who had to be caught in a hotel room naked with two other men and drugs and embroil his wife and three children in a national scandal before he came out as bisexual. So don't let the left tell you this story about how stunning and brave he is and how bold it is for him to come out as a bisexual man and become an ally and advocate for the LGBT community. Wrong. It's false. I am an out gay man. I have been an out gay man for a very long time. I'm an out gay man that is not a coward that decided to marry a woman and have three children and humiliate her in front of the entire world and then come out as bisexual so that I can get the acceptance of the American public. And this is the same left that is making Andrew Gillum a hero is the same left that cannot wait to find Republicans that are embroiled in scandals like this, Republican men that were married to women and got caught with men or whatever. They cannot wait to use that as an example of how quote unquote homophobic the Republican Party is. But the second a leftist does it, the second Andrew Gillum gets caught in a hotel room naked with two other men and meth and drugs and everything else, now this person is a hero. Do not let the left get away with this. Do not let Andrew Gillum become some sort of hero for the LGBT left. Because he's not a hero. He's not even a good man. You know what he is? A coward. Because only a coward would be married to a woman, have three kids, and humiliate her in front of the entire planet. Only a coward would cower under the rainbow umbrella of the LGBT when he was been humiliated to try to come out as bisexual in order to save face, in order to save his political career, in order to save his career as a public figure. Nobody on the left will call him out. Certainly no gays on the left will call him out. So I will call him out. Andrew Gillum is a coward. He is no hero. He is no advocate for the LGBT. And don't let them sell you the idea that he is.
Joining us on the line is Candace Owen. She, of course, is the comment.
Let's bring up the surprise. The surprise. All right, audience. I don't know what she get ready to ask me. So, and my wife tells me that I don't hide things well on my face. I'm gonna try my best. All right, super producer. What you about to pull out your surprise box?
Well, in the next 2 weeks, Tamron Hall, her show has come back on NBC, the Tamron Hall Show, and one of her first guests will be Andrew Gillum as his wife. Now, are you trying to hide your face? You're not doing
I'm trying. I'm not doing a good job.
So, people know this from other podcasts I've been on. I'm actually very familiar with Andrew Gillum. I'm actually a fourth sister in college. Y'all had like a secret, Andrew Gillum when he first came out, side note.
So backstory. Were you at FAM when he was at FAM?
I had just gotten there when he left. When he was still coming back to help his sister run for SGA president and help his sister run for a freshman class president. Like he was coming back to school kind of often because she was there, and he was still the famous guy on campus.
Okay.
And there were rumors then about him being, gay.
Okay.
He got married. We all laughed and was like, who wanted to be that weird for the rest of her life? Again, that's all of us who know the backstory. So
First of all, I don't know. Is beard a derogatory? I don't know.
It can't be a derogatory term, but all of us made a decision to not talk about this because some of our friends were actually requesting interviews and they were just like, absolutely not. Nobody would talk about it. It was a thing. So his incident happened. He trashed a pretty promising political career, even as an analyst, as a member of the Biden administration, which I really thought was around the corner.
Right.
Where does he go from here, even after the interview with his wife, who was wearing a hideous pink dress? I can't with her clothing choice, but that's a different subject. Where does he go from here?
I I don't know. I know some folks who, outside of yourself, who know him, who are strong advocates of him. He obviously knows his stuff. I guess at that point is whether or not he's living out his truth. He's reconciling with his wife, right? And do they have children? I don't know if they have children or not. This living in, he's got a law degree. I guess he's gonna go back and practice law. And maybe that's how he'll make a living, because it's gonna be tough. But at the same time, the liberal base is forgiving. Especially if Joe Biden wins. It doesn't matter if Joe Biden wins. I give that brother doing this interview. I give him another year, and he's gonna find his way back in the conversation.
My issue is that instead of just living in his truth, like you said, I think it's where a lot of us are more annoyed. Like, you live in your truth. Like this whole I have to be straight, I have to be a family man. Nobody has put that label on white men. Why do we force that label on black men? You got little Pete Buttigieg out here living his best life, doing what he needs to do. He served the military. He's, embarrassing Fox News host now, doing interviews and stuff. Like, he's doing a good job.
Who outside of Buttigieg has had? Did you say Janet Reno? You dug in the history, but outside of Pete Buttigieg, he's obviously openly gay, and he's doing his thing. I think him, as in Gillum, leaving his wife, as you said, to live out his truth. I know people who are bisexual. Maybe this still is his truth. He may have an attraction to men, but he still loves his wife and his family, and so now he's good with that. So I think he's a sharp dude. I think he was just.
It's mind-boggling to me because he is so smart. You are so good at this. I get he tried to blame it on a drug and alcohol. I don't think he's alcoholic. I don't think he's a drug addict. That whole thing of he going to rehab was ridiculous. I do think he was super depressed because he really thought he was on that good foot to win, and he didn't. And that can be depressing. But
sure.
There was a huge silver lining on the other side. He was a sought after. I guess it really just hurts my feelings for so many reasons, and I want to get your opinion on it because, again, this was a guy who was about to be a rock star in the Democratic Party, and he up in smoke, and now we have him doing interview with Tamron Hall with his wife, and he wants all of us to believe that everything's good now. We're working through it.
Right.
Most couples get over this type of public embarrassment and be completely fine and show that brave face.
Well, most people don't have a public life like this, so it's hard to equate that because it's people always talk about all the generalizations. Oh, it's a whole lot of down low brothers and blah blah blah. I don't know. I personally don't. I don't know. I personally don't know any. At least I know that they know. I don't know. People living their lives. It is what it is. The brother's a sharp dude. If he wants to protect his family, they decided to reconcile. Then I wish him the best. Now, as far as him being able to run for office again, probably not. But can he be an amazing lobbyist? Can he be somebody who have a strong position in the Democratic National Committee? Something to that effect? I'm sure he could. Because I'm sure. Yeah. Right.
I just think it's.
Right.
I don't know.
That brother's is he 40 yet? I don't think is he like.
He might be 40.
If he is, he's barely for. So the point is, he's got a long life to live.
Yeah, he's 41. He's 79.
Yeah, so he's got a long career ahead of him. So we definitely wish him the best.
And ABC and Tamron, she ain't playing. Not playing. She's not playing. She had Andrew Gillum. He is the young man who ran for the governor of Florida, and he lost by like this much. Such a rising political person, wound up being a commentator on CNN, and then he was involved in the scandal in March. Drugs, a male escort, he was naked in his own vomit. He's finally talking. At the time, Andrew Gillum blamed it on the alcohol. Went to rehab. Now he sat down and talked to Tamron. What made him talk to Tamron? His wife. His wife brokered the interview. She put it together so that they can talk. And no one saw this coming. He says he identifies as bisexual. Now his wife, for those who say, what does his wife say? They have 3 kids. What does his wife say? She accepts his past. She didn't say anything about the future, but she's accepting of his past, and she knew. They're not planning on breaking up. I think he's going to get back into politics, and I'll tell you why. It will set you free, right? The truth will set you free. He's living in his truth, being honest. Will it help him or hurt him? You got to think, a lot of these people in office, they clowning, and they got past and scandals, and people just look the other way. Would they look the other way with an Andrew Gillum? This is going to be interesting because I think he's going to get back into politics. And I think this is a very calculated move for him to get back in politics. I think he fessed up to everything. He said there was no drugs and he had a drinking problem. He talked about being depressed and losing and just everything. But he came out today, Andrew Gillum, stating that he is bisexual. Tamar Braxton. Tony.
This wasn't about beating him down further. It wasn't about ambush questions. It was about a healing process that they are going through right now. There's a lot to unpack, and one of the things that I know after being a journalist for 30 years, a long time in this business, is the notion of people being on the down low or in the closet language that we used 20 years ago. You have to ask yourself, are people chased into this secrecy? I think you know the answer to that. Would Andrew Gillum be a political star if 20 years ago he would have disclosed that he is bisexual? That's a part of this question. This doesn't mean people get a free pass or an excuse, but it's a part of it. And I invite you to join us in the after show on YouTube, on Twitter. I know some of you are going to think I should have been harder, and that's okay. But this is a conversation. As I say, live your life. You don't have to defend it. It's certainly not to me. It's a big week as we kick off season 2, and I am.
A lot of you people are kind of like confused, a little bit like live your truth. And Tamara Hall even got her message across on saying that's their business, they're entitled to it, but it's nobody else's business. Which is, she's right, but it's sort of like when you're married, you being, I get he was being open and honest, but he wasn't being too honest about it because he just kind of led it on. He's kind of was being a little bit dishonest about it because, I get some people want to stay in marriages and keep it in between, but I think to me, he's trying to get back to a political comeback. Would this work or would this not work? That's just the question that we have to ask ourselves. That question, and he has to ask this question too. Does he see this as a strategic move to get back into the political game? Will this work or not? We'll have to see. But Andrew Gillum revealed that he's been depressed, and a lot of alcoholism, and depression, and marriage woes, and he's wrestling with his identity as being a bisexual man while being married. So we have to. That's his life. He's entitled to it. All right. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying we did the viral reaction for Andrew Gillum and Tamara Hall. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. See you next time for season 4 of Viral.